Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero. It's been a hot topic regarding housing in Puerto Rico, and so our economic capsule in the voice of Heidie Calero today is going to address what are the factors behind what's happening in terms of the housing market in Puerto Rico and the trends that are taking place. Our first graph depicts the new housing permits, which are already an indicator, an advanced indicator of new housing units that will be coming on the market as soon as maybe the developers get the financing and there are market studies that indicate that there is a demand. So notice from 2000, all these columns that you see there are the number of housing permits that were taking place each year as per the Puerto Rico Planning Board. And notice that in 2003, we got to the peak of almost 21,041 permits, new housing permits. And so from 2001 to 2003, all those housing permits grew at the clip of 8% on an annual basis. Going fast forward in terms of what happened back in 2007, from 2003 to 2007, which is the start of Puerto Rico's economic recession. Now it's really a depression to this day. Well, from 2003 through 2007, we dropped 12% in terms of all these housing permits on an annual basis, and it went down almost to in 2007 to 8,375 permits. But even going forward, you see all these columns really getting smaller and smaller. And in 2000, from 2007 through 2020, which is the latest figures that we have a rate of growth, negative rate of growth of negative 12%, similar to the period of 2003-2007, with scarcely 2,269 housing permits from a high of 21,041 permits back in 2003. So that's part of the explanation of what is happening in terms of the housing market. Not enough units being built. Let's look at what's happening in terms of prices. And the next two graphs that you're seeing there depict what's happening with the average housing prices and in terms of existing units and for new units. So in existing units, all these orange columns that you see there from 2011 through 2021, this is fiscal year according to the Office of the Commissioner of Financial Institutions. And we had an approximate average price of $144,875 back in 2012. And now in 2021, it's $174,653. So notice this increase, especially after Hurricane Maria, when we had it dropped to $139,000. So this is almost an increase of $35,000 to almost $37,000 increase in terms of the average price of existing units. And in terms of new units, which is the next graph that you see there, the blue columns, it depicts that back in 2012, the average housing price was $206,721. It went down from in Hurricane Maria's year 2017 to $172,356, and now it's up to $229,409. So again, almost an increase of $50,000 in scarcely 4 years. So the housing market getting hot right now. And as you can see in the last graph that we are depicting here, the sale of housing units, the big market is in the existing units, because as the story unfolds, not enough new housing, there's not enough inventory. We went from a surplus of housing units now to a shortage of units. And most of the market is in existing units. And so it was in 2012, we sold 12,468 units. Now in 2021, it's almost at that same level, not quite yet there, but more or less going back to that level, 12,417. And notice that in 2017, it was 7,000, almost 8,000 units. So it's now almost 4,400 additional units that are being sold in 2021. So that is part of the story of why I depicted before the average increase in housing prices of existing units. And then the blue columns are the sale of housing units, of new housing units. In 2011, it was 3,582, and now 2021, it's 1,045. We have not yet returned to the levels of 2011, when we had more of the new units that are being built. And again, notice that this correlates with the price mechanism in the market, that it goes up. And so we still have not regained normal levels before 2011. It's now down to 1,045, but at least creeping upwards as more people have received the unemployment benefits, the rescue benefits from the COVID post-COVID-19, and during all those funds that have been being received here in Puerto Rico. People have stuck them in the deposits in the bank. So the banks do have a lot of money, and there is money out there. So people are just burning their holes in their pockets because they do want new housing units. Remember, there is a change also in the labor market. People who now have found out, I can work remote control. I can, instead of returning to that $7.25 minimum wage an hour in that particular job, now I am reinventing myself. I'm engaging in other businesses, and so why not work from the housing units, from maybe additional space, remodeling, but also a bigger house. So existing units are in prime demand, and also new units are going to be also new demand as new developers are building. And of course, this goes with the price tag of additional price increases. So it's a hot market, not only in Puerto Rico, but also in the States as well. And that's also an index of how the economy is recovering. We're still yet in a depression, but obviously there are indicators that, yes, there is an economy that is receiving all this flow of funds, and it's going to take a while. Prices are increasing, and I don't see any respite until maybe 2022. Until the next capsule, don't forget to subscribe to our channel in YouTube under the voice of Heidie Calero, and give us a like to these economic capsules. Until then, stay safe. Thank you.